sometimes it's about just educating, talking to the parents. Okay, so for instance, on a sense of sight, they might be getting too much information, like during the day. Not during the day. When they are getting too much information, they want to stay in the dark.
Okay.
Yeah, or in not so bright lights. Then when they are not receiving enough information to their side, they'll just turn on the lights even during the day. They are not getting enough information from their senses of sight.
Right.
As well as sense of feeling. Some like, okay, I'll refer to my brother, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Kudakwashe will wear one t-shirt and joggers and a track bottom for 3 consecutive days because he's very comfortable in those clothes. It has to do with texture. If they like the texture, they'll keep on wearing that same clothes even
or the
every
color.
day. Texture.
Okay, I said even or possibly the color.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that has something to do with sense of feeling.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes they lack on sense of feeling. They lack sense of touch. They want to be touched. So many. Well, I can't say so many. Kudakwashe, because I know him personally. Right. He's my brother. Yeah, loves to feel people, to touch people, to be hugged. He lacks that. He's not getting enough. When your child is oversensitive to sense of hearing.
Okay.
As supermarkets, they're busy. There's a lot of noise, and since they get too much information already, the noise will be like magnified. Will be times 10 the normal noise that we know. So they end up having meltdowns. Throwing tantrums, meltdowns, screaming, fight you or flight. Because with autistic individuals, it's either they fight you or they flight.
Or they run away.
They run away.
Right.
So it's flight or fight. Yeah.
So with the sensory issues now, especially in, let's say, I'm using the word Africa now, you see some people saying that this boy that likes staying indoor, staying in the dark when other people are staying in the light, don't you think he's possessed? So I think that if the parents don't understand what the child is going through, like we're talking about sensory issues now, they don't understand what the child is going through, and the child likes to stay in the dark. It's not always like he's sensitive. He's either hypersensitive to light, and instead of staying where the place is well lighted, you rather prefer to stay in the dark. And when others are saying put on the light, and he's saying put on the light. So when that happens, he has issues with people.
Yeah.
So for people that are supporting them, the family. So a clear understanding of what people are going through. So people supporting people with autism should have empathy. I think that is a very critical issue, something that people, so that they can know how to help them.
Yeah.
So it's when they put themselves in the shoes of those people that are struggling, that have those challenges, that's when they can know how to help them.
Yeah.
But do you think we have enough people like that? Especially, I will use the word the African setting now. Do you think, because like we said when we started, is when people understand it and they are aware about it and they accept the reality, that's when they can put themselves in the shoes of those people. For someone else, the person may say, okay, don't bring your child to my house again.
Yeah.
And so what happens to the family? So it means a lot of families that are having children or family with autism can sometimes go into depression. So what do you think that will take us to coping strategies for people or parents with autism? What do you think can be the coping strategies for families or families of people living with autism?
Okay. If the parents accept their child, that their child is autistic, again, somehow, I don't know how, but at some point we have to let the community know or other relatives know. And
Not keeping the child at home.
Not keeping the child at home.
Not saying the child has traveled and the child is actually at home.
Yeah. You have to take the kid. Yeah, you have to be open. You have to be open about it. And as soon as the community or other relatives realize that, okay, fine, this family has accepted their child, somehow they'll also accept it. Yeah. But if it seems like you're hiding the child, you're not exposing the child to the community, it's a bit depressing. I would like to give an example.
Okay.
Last week, my mom called me. My brother loves cycling the bicycle outside the gate.
Okay.
So we take him to our car park. We have a car park where he goes to play. So somehow, I don't know how he managed to, to just slip away.
Right.
And cross the main road, the main busy road.
Wow.
And went to another area. Fortunately, because people in our community knows him, one lady was surprised, what are you doing here?
Right.
You're not supposed to be alone. Here and alone. Does your mom know that you are out here? So the lady started to chase him, and he was running. He was running away. So the lady was able to get him.
Right.
And he attempted to beat her. But the lady said, I'm not letting you go. I'm getting you home. I'm taking you home.
Right.
So, so if the community knows, they'll be able to help you. Because there will not always be kids. They'll grow up. Like Kudakwashi, he's 24 now. Right. He's a grown man. He loves to explore on his own. But with the help of the community, and it's not the first time someone is bringing him back. It's the second time. So the community needs to know, needs to be aware. You need to take him out. Yeah.
So thank you. So when the community is aware and the community is also sensitized enough, because another thing is, because it's not, when you say the community, it's not just the immediate environment of the people living with autism.
Yeah.
It also has to deal with the entire community. Yeah. So that still goes back to the government. Pushing fund into that sector, into that area, so that the people living with autism can be helped. So that when the society is aware and they know what exact help. Because another thing is just to say, okay, there's autism. So when someone that has autism around you is possibly displaying some challenging behaviors, what do? Do you just, okay, it's not my business. People, for instance, people can say, okay, it's not my business. You mess up, you are naughty, I deal with you. But when the people in the society understand that, okay, this behavior is not the usual behavior. If the person is not naughty, but the person is autistic, when it happens this way, this is how I should relate. So it means that the government should push a lot of funds out to do a lot of orientation about it and help the people so that they can help the people that have any challenges. Okay. So then talking about the coping strategies for people with autism. Don't you think when the family of people living with autism now understand the situation and they have accepted the reality, that they can have something around, instead of going to depression about the situation, feeling pitied, they can, what do you think can make people, the family now, what do you think they can do, though they have accepted it, but they are not out of it? So one thing is about, he's autistic or she's autistic. But anytime they see the child, they always go sad.
Yeah.
They're sad about it. So how can people, I mean the family of people living with autism, live happy? Or can they actually live happy?
Yeah, because I think the moment you accept it,
Right.
because without acceptance, you can't be happy. You're always trying to look for a way out. Like, no, I have to go to this maybe witch doctor to look for solution, or I have to go to this pastor, he can pray this problem away. But the moment you accept it, that's the beginning of like not you being depressed, because you have accepted. Now sometimes you just have to look at what they are good at, because autistic people are very intelligent.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them are very. So I think
Can you give us one or two examples? Tell me one or two examples of people living with autism that you know are intelligent.
Okay. You mean popular people or just
popular people that someone can actually relate with? That this person is autistic, or he was autistic, or she was autistic.
Well, with autism, it depends. Is it like mild or is it severe? So there are some people who can function well,
right,
and you don't even notice that they have autism.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I can say names, but I don't want to say something that I'm not sure of. But I know. So it depends. Some people can function well with autism.
Right.
Yeah. And some people, well, who are at the severe side,
right,
can function very well, but they are good at something. Why? Because they pay attention to one particular thing. They can pay attention to studying maps. They are very good at maps or maths or whatever, or computer games. So maybe if you find something that your child has interest in, and then help him to grow that. Yeah.
That's fine. Then now that you are changing the way things are in Africa, what's the next plan for? What are your plans?
Okay.
So what should society be looking out for?
Okay. I've seen so many people being interviewed about autism, and mostly they talk about going to different therapists.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's not everyone, especially in Africa, that can afford going to a therapist. Some can't even afford to buy decent food for their kids because they're a bit choosy. They don't just eat anything. So we can't even talk about going to a therapist. They don't even think about it because they're a bit expensive. So where the foundation is coming from is like we going out to the people, not people coming to us to look for help, but us going out there to people, teaching them, connecting people with specialists, connecting parents with specialists,
right,
coming to them, because sometimes it's quite difficult to travel with an autistic child. On a public transport.
Right.
It's very difficult. So the aim of the foundation is to go out to meet the people, connect the people with the professionals, teach the community, going out there, working in the community, not in the office, but working with the community, the parents.
Okay, yeah, thank you. You mentioned that in Africa, it can be very expensive to help people with autism. So what's your foundation doing to either salvage the situation? You have mentioned what you plan to do. So in terms of funding, are you sure, since you are coming as a private company now to help the people, it's going to be very capital intensive?
Yeah.
Right. So are you saying that your service will not be too expensive for people that need a service to access?
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes it's not about like going to the therapies. Sometimes it's just to teach the parents how to cope with the kids. and some parents are not even sure if their child is autistic or what's going on, how to handle him or her, so sometimes it's about just educating, talking to the parents.
Okay.
Yeah. And if we manage to get professionals for free, we then connect them. Yeah.
Okay. So will your yeah, I want to use your company. Yeah, will your company be leveraging on technology? Say for instance, like the people with autism, like having maybe a kind of hub.
Sorry?
A kind of hub.
Mm-hmm.
Like application, mobile application.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe on iOS, on iOS,
Mm-hmm.
so that then this kind of help can, since the first part of it will be the educational side, to let people, the family of people living with autism, to know what exactly to do, how to access the help that they need. If your child has this kind of sensitive issue, this is what you should do, right? Those are informational, they are educational. So I'm not saying that we are company be leveraging on the digital space to say, okay, we want to have a kind of hub that can, and with the advent of AI, right? To say, okay, if your child is having this kind of issue, then ask AI, or possibly kind of like, okay, your child is having this, what should I do? Something that can interface with them. So because, say for instance, Zimbabwe, like what's the population of Zimbabwe? Like,
I'm not sure.
Okay, so let's say for instance, maybe in Harare, for instance, maybe you have maybe I don't know the population, we can always
maybe
find
1
out.
million. Yeah.
Maybe like 1 million people.
Yeah.
So your foundation that is just starting, you need a lot of funding and the manpower requirement will also be massive. But I believe that if there is the kind of digital like kind of hub that people can actually, either they can pay for by subscription, that they can download, and if they need they need support, right? That they can have immediate support, because sometimes if what the challenge they have will happen maybe in the night, and they can't come to you in the night. So what happens? But if they have something that they can actually relate with, maybe you kind of have that they can actually get quick information from, right? That can help. Is a company or foundation thinking or considering something like that, leveraging on digital space to help the people with autism in Zimbabwe?
Yes. It's in the pipeline to get something, because I think it will help many families, because sometimes you need to get instant replies or instant information. And it will be a great platform to communicate with professionals if you can't go to the professional or the professionals can't come to you. So it's like they'll be communicating through that app. So, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So then for the people, because I understand in Africa, majorly, some people that possibly are in the rural sector, in the rural area, I'm sorry, that can access, unlike the developed society where even in the rural area you can still get access to the internet.
Yeah.
But a lot of places in Africa, some places in Africa, let me put it that way, don't have access to the internet. So what we'll be doing, so I think that's where your professionals will be going to the rural sector to talk, to engage them at their doorsteps, right?
Yes.
Okay, you are doing a good job.
Thank you.
Well done. So your funding, what's in the pipeline? How are you looking at the fund? Because from what you've said, it's going to be a very capital intensive project.
Yeah.
So what are the plans regarding, because what you're doing, like I said earlier, is going to transform the African society. And like we also said earlier, the government should pay more attention to it. And also, I also believe that, not because the government cannot do everything.
Yeah.
The development agencies like that are in that sector should also beyond what they've been doing currently, they should give more attention to people with autism, or especially an organization like yours that is trying that has a lot of plans to help the people living with autism. So, how do you intend raising funds, or is it something that you don't want to talk about here?
Well, what I can say is we have something in the pipeline.
Right.
There are some organizations that we are talking to that we can work in collaboration with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you open to collaboration from other agencies?
Yeah, definitely.
So if you had to talk about an agency that you would like to partner with, possibly they can see this podcast and say, okay, yeah, you have them in mind, and possibly they can reach out to you. So which company or agencies are you looking up to, or are you looking forward to connecting with?
There's no specific like agency that for now. There's no specific.
Okay, yeah, it's been good having you on the show today, Fadzai. And from the conversation, it is very clear that the concept of autism is something that a lot of people in Africa don't have the correct knowledge about, and I believe that with this conversation, it's going to help a lot of people. And like we do on Purposeful Tribe is a place where we talk about families and singles, but we do know that a lot of things do challenge happiness in the home, and one of such is in the area of health. But we believe that with the right information, people can be strengthened, they can be helped. And I believe you've been strengthened with this conversation with Fadzai today. Thank you.